When it comes to strength training for running, one of the most important concepts to understand is that running essentially occurs in one leg. What happens is you're transferring force from one leg to the other, and with very little what do we call bilateral stance. So we're very rarely standing on two legs here. With this in mind, we really want to perfect our single leg stance training. Everything changes when we stand on one leg because we're forcing all of the muscles of both the lateral core here and the hips to stabilize each side. So when I step onto this side activates. When I step onto this side activates. A good way to test whether these muscles are firing is to simply stand in a single leg stance. Oftentimes we'll find with people that don't have stability in this position, these muscles aren't firing correctly, we'll get a side lean, they'll simply lose balance, or they'll be shifting in some way or another. So really a great way to train stability and efficiency in your run is to adopt the single leg stance and perfect it. This is a great drill to do throughout the day because it's something that you can practice anywhere. Some progressions for this drill would be to just start out supported. We're raising the knee above the waist here. And what I'm thinking about doing here is contracting my butt cheek, right? That's providing stability here for my hip. I'm just trying to remain stable in this position. Think about getting as tall as possible, elongating the head, and just holding for around 20 seconds on each side. Once that becomes a little bit easier, what I'm going to do is simply remove the support. Again, holding in this position becomes a little bit more difficult, and then once we gain stability here, we can do things like closing our eyes, providing perturbations with our arms, until we really have a good base of stability here. Once that is the case, you can start to incorporate things like chest presses with it, rows in a single leg stance, just building stability on top of this foundation that we've created here. The other thing that we want to think about with running are single leg exercises. We really want to focus on single leg work because we want to get our hips and our, the muscles that are involved in our run very strong. I'm just going to show you a great exercise to do so here. It's called a split squat. Split squat starts in a split stance here. And what I'm doing is I'm simply coming up and down. Again, thinking about sitting back on my front heel and just dropping everything straight up and down. As you come up, think about getting as tall as possible, pausing at the bottom for 1 to 2 seconds. If this exercise is difficult at the beginning, you can simply start on your knee, come up, come back down until you gain stability. A progression from the split squat would be a body weight, what we call a rear foot elevated split squat. So I'm just kind of providing a little more instability here, putting my back foot on a step, and coming up and down. Because running occurs in sort of more of a body weight fashion here, we want to shoot for higher reps with these, maybe anywhere from 15 to 20 reps. Until these get more difficult, you can even move to things where you're doing single leg squatting and things like that. But practice that single leg stance, work the split squat in training, and that's your second tip.